Hello everybody and welcome to one more video on big units of World War II. This time it will be the third part of this series related to Mortain in 20mm for rapid fire. So two more divisions today. Here you can see the first SS Panzer Division, and here the 116 Panzer Division. All of them, as you know, quite reduced. I mean, in average, the divisions must have been around 50%. So, as I told you before, 6 divisions here on the table gives more or less 3 full divisions. I mean, maybe with a few things still missing. So let's start, for instance, with the 116th Panzer Division. Here it is. It is not a very performative unit during the Battle of Mortain. It was still under strength. There were plenty of problems. It was a relatively new division. It arrived very late to Normandy, as usual with the German Panzer divisions. It arrived piecemeal. For instance, its Panther battalion was still in Germany, so they had a battalion of Panthers, the battalion of Panthers of the 24th Panzer Division, loaned to them, and then, of course, I mean, this was one of the problems also of the 116th Panzer Division. I mean, the commander of the division, Count von Schwerin, didn't behave apparently very well. I mean, he couldn't at least perform the orders that he should pass a good part of its units to the second Panzer Division, which was, I mean, one of the main assets in the attack, and it had the share of lion in terms of advances that were ordered to the German forces. So he couldn't perform a number of duties, and he was sacked in the first day of the offensive on the 7th. Even so, this battalion passed to the command of the 2nd Division. A few characteristics are interesting about, for instance, these Panthers. If you look, they had, for instance, wheels, as you can see here, posted on the back. It has a characteristic of the 116th Panzer Division, even if they have, of course, as you can see there, the symbol of the 24th. So they had this characteristic, and this guy here must be I think probably a SS Panther. Okay, so you can see here others with the same characteristic. You can see here the wheel on the back of the turret, and you also see another thing. They were heavily camouflaged. The 116th Division Panthers were having very little yellow to be shown, so they were heavily camouflaged with the green and of course the red brown German colors. These are the characteristics of these guys. So almost all of them are all 6 of them are Eschi. There are 176 also. So this one I think is Matchbox, and another Berger Panther from Altaia. The division had very curious aspects. For instance, still had some Panzer IIIs, also some Panzer IV with the short 75mm gun. I didn't place the one I have from 21st Division here because, well, first of all, you already seen it if you follow this series. I mean, if you follow my channel with the appropriate obedience. If you don't, I mean, you probably don't remember. But I mean, I didn't place it here because probably it didn't arrive alive to this phase of Normandy battle. There could also be some Sturmgeschütz 3 with the short 75mm gun. I also left one I have for the Arnhem battle. Aside. So here you have. So there is, as funny things, there's a Panzer III still with a long 50mm gun. For instance, the looks for the reconnaissance are also here. One of the few divisions in Normandy to have it. They were quite strong in terms of Jagdpanzer IVs. There were still 15, so 3 to make the unit of the Panzerjägerabteilungen. And you can see here the symbol of the 116th. So this was some of the characteristics, some of the funny ones. Also, the mobile wagons are here. You can see them here. For instance, these are Asegawa chassis with converted converted these plates, vertical plates of the mobile wagon were made out of plastic art. Now you can see here the Panzer battalion with the Panzer IV battalion with Hasegawa here, I think, Panzer Force. I think more Hasegawa here, Altaia, and more Altaia over there. Okay. Division was relatively well equipped, but I mean, with loaned units or subunits, if you want. For instance, no anti-aircraft battalion. That was still only men existed, but no material. So the division had some severe handicaps. I mean, I have here also the typical battalion of SPs with a Hummel from the usual Eschi and two Vespa from Matchbox. There were two battalions of infantry at least present in the battle. I don't place here mobile 150mm gun. I placed here one from S models with some valiant crew, pulled by a very nice 3D print by Mario Laranja, Hanomag 10. Here are some toy trucks that, I mean, with some camouflage, they look more or less like the many trucks the Germans had. I mean, but this is not really a true thing. Only the figures are some very nice Kaiser seated figures, which fit very well. Which are in fact, I mean, the best feature of this model. And then also some 251s, the usual, at least one battalion in each four battalion group of Panzer Grenadiers. So in order to have some anti-aircraft defense, you have here the SDKFZ-7 with the quadruple 20mm and mobile wagons that were attached to the Panzer Regiment. And this is what is to be told about the 116th. The division, which was, I'm looking for the paper, that's why it's taking time, which was led by von Schwerin, as I told you. And in fact, there's nothing else to be said. I'm reading on the paper, and I think I said everything that I wanted. So, no more. Now let's go to the first SS Panzer. First SS Panzer is one of the most, of course, it's the Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler, so it was a elite unit. For instance, this thing here, the Puma of the first SS Panzer and the other 234 vehicles, that 222. I'm not sure if they were here. I mean, in the things I read, namely on this paper, on this kind of documents I told you. Here, this is the one for the first SS Panzer Division. This is the one for 116th. I've showed you already this one on the first series on the first part of this series. They don't mention these guys, and in fact I couldn't find the Hauptkleidungsabteilungen of the Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler. My goodness, my German is getting better and better each day. I can't find any reference of them in the Battle of Normandy, but even so, I placed a few because, I mean, it's logical that at least some platoons at least went with the main forces. So regarding the tank force was still very powerful. For instance, you can find, as you can see here, for instance, still 46 Panthers around 5th of August, 57 Panzer IVs. I mean, what I read, they are not that many, but even so, I placed plenty. Look, you see here, so a group of 8 Panthers and a group of 7 Panzer IVs, which I think more or less reflects what they really managed to use on the Mortain battle. Sorry, don't expect to find here Joachim Peiper. Joachim Peiper had a nervous breakdown at the beginning of August, so he was on the hospital. So it is funny that this very famous guy from the second Panzer das Reich, Barkman, and the infamous Joachim Peiper none of them was present on the respective SS division. So you see here 8 Panthers, most of them, some of them at least are Altaia. The heavy one, for instance, this one heavy. I see it by the weight. This one is Altaia. Yeah, this one too. So 2 Altaias, and then the rest is Eschi with the characteristic camouflage of the first SS Panzer. You can see it here again. This is also characteristic of the first SS Panzer. For me, it's very nice to have this kind of camouflages, trying to find I mean, at least some specific items for each of the divisions, and of course with the traditional symbol of the first SS Panzer. The Panzer Force, I don't identify them with much stuff, because they can be used in many other divisions. But the Panthers, I had plenty of them, so around 30. So I as well as the Panzer IV. But somehow I like to Panther is one of the most beautiful machines of World War II. So I like to identify them. Almost personally, if I can say so. So two Flak Panzer also on Panzer IV chassis. You can see here a conversion of the Berge Panzer 3. I converted this one from the Matchbox model. You can see also some stroke. There could be also a few more. I don't know if there were. At least I found at least some 10 acting. I don't know if there were more. I hope not, because I don't have no more Stokes. I have other Stokes, but they are spread all over these units. And this is some command. I mean, you can see here, of course, Theodor Wisch somewhere, sitting on the back, okay, with some SS drivers, as you can see by the smock. This is a completely invention of mine. I mean, it was one of my kids' car that I look at it and I look at it and thought that this can give a reasonable radio German car. I was thinking to make it Ukrainian or Russian, but then no, for nowadays conflict. But no, let's do it German. It will be. Then of course I have to disguise the many flaws with foliage. More reconnaissance stuff here with 2 Schwimmwagen, of course. And this is what I wanted to show you about the first SS. And I should also mention. No, there are still a few things. Sorry. For instance, there was still a company of engineers with the 251 sevens. Okay, this one is of course the very famous one by Eschi. You can see here the artillery, one of the artillery battalions. I mean, I'm always placing here because of mobility in terms of game, if I can say so. I'm always showing you the self-propelled guns. I have others, but sometimes the relation to the towed guns is not as well done, or doesn't show up because it's not as nice as a self-propelled gun. So sometimes I know a little bit more about self-propelled guns than about other kind of guns. So, and here comes the infantry. The artillery is the same. I mean, I think this one is and it's a mixed one because it's Matchbox, and this is Eschi, and this is also of course Eschi, and they are the self-propelled guns of the artillery self-propelled guns of the first SS. Now for the infantry, more SS battalions. You can see here with plenty of origins, conversions from armor fast, Eschi, metal figures also, some of them. Conversions like that radio guy is an evolved Eschi figure that comes out in the 250 or 251 series, something like that. These are all conversions. The Venerable Airfix is here. There are some Africa Corps. I mean, plenty of conversions that you can see here. Also some, you can see the guy with Panzerfaust on the back is irregular miniatures, more plastic figures inside the Animax, also SHQ. I mean, plenty of conversions that you can see coming from a little bit everywhere. This guy is an engineer from Revel. Now he's holding a MG42. I mean, plenty of origins. Also the Zeke 150mm towed by one more Middle Range of fabulous Anamag 10. And then there is a second battalion with, I made up this one, frankly, because I didn't have enough enough Opel Blitz. So I'm using here some French tracks by Raventhrop, crammed with Kaiser SS figures. Okay, and they become quite nice, I think. And Valiant 120mm mortar and anti-aircraft battalion with Mini General 20mm SPGs, and this one is what? This one must be eventually Airfix. I don't know. I don't know. This is a Skytrax 88mm anti-aircraft gun. Okay. So this is the Leibstandarte. Leibstandarte is quite a big unit, as you can see, and it was also important in the battle. Now, one more aspect of this, at least of this area of the table, is this train station here. I mean, this is something that my late father had on his train collection, and then I converted it to the Mortain Le Neufbourg train station, which is a centerpiece in the battle, because when the Second Panzer SS got there, a battle developed, and there are very famous images of this battle, of this small encounter, in which there are a number of SS troops destroyed around this place. You can still visit. It's still more or less in the same shape as it was in World War II, and you can, if you can't go there, I still couldn't go to Mortain. I will go in hopefully in the future, but you can see it through a fabulous series, which is World War II TV. World War II TV is on the web. You can Google World War II TV; it will show up immediately. It is a fantastic channel with some of the best things that have ever been produced in terms of filming of documentary. Sorry, regarding World War II. It's amazing, and there are two different episodes for the Mortain campaign. It was also inspiring. It also inspired me to conclude and to do a few more things here on this group that you can see. So I think everything is shown. I think so, and hope we have enjoyed. Two more divisions today: 116th and 1st SS Panzer. Okay, it was a pleasure. See you tomorrow or in one of these days. Tomorrow is working day, so I hope to have time to film the in fact what will be the last part of this series regarding the 17th Panzer Grenadier SS and the Panzerlehr. Okay, let's see if tomorrow we have time for that. So bye bye. See you soon.